Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Planning Development Committee meeting for Monday, June 13th, 2016. Calling the meeting to order. We do have a quorum present. First item on the agenda is approval of the regular meeting minutes from May 23rd, 2016.
Move approval.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The meeting minutes are approved. This evening, we have several items on the agenda. We're going to go through them one by one. As we entertain each item, I'll be asking if there is anyone who wants to speak at the public's, make public comment, and I'll do those per item. I heard a few people say that they really intended to speak at the council meeting as opposed to the committee meeting, but I want to make sure that everybody has a chance to be heard. So as we go through each item, I'll make sure that anybody who wants to speak to that item has an opportunity. Item P1 is a grant renewal from the Affordable Housing Fund to the Alliance to End Homelessness in Suburban Cook County. The Housing and Homelessness Commission and staff are recommending approval of a renewal grant of $18,500 from the Affordable Housing Fund for the Homeless Management Information Center to the Alliance to End Homelessness in Suburban Cook County. This database system is required by HUD to track demographic data, housing, and social services for homeless recipients, including recipients of emergency solutions grant funds from the city. The source is the Affordable Housing Fund, which currently has a cash balance of approximately $850,000 in uncommitted available funds. This is for action. Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
All right. And is there anyone here who was intending to speak on that from the public? Okay. Is there a report, or is that covered? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That will advance to council for action tonight. Item P2 is Resolution 43R16, designating the portion of Oakton Street between Ridge Avenue and Barton Avenue with the honorary street name sign Clara Hairston Pate Way. The Citizens Advisory Committee on Public Place Names recommends approval of 43R16, naming the portion of Oakton Street between Ridge Avenue and Barton Avenue with the honorary street name Clara Hairston Pate Way. Funding for the program is budgeted in the Public Works Agency Infrastructure and Maintenance Bureau Traffic Operations Materials with a budget of $40,000. 3 street names are made for the honoree, and the approximate cost to create each honorary street name is $200. Is there a motion?
Move approval.
And do we have anyone here to speak to that item? Okay. Would the alderman like to address it? Which ward is this?
That would be Alderman Miller, I think, is who made the recommendation.
Okay. Okay. Alderman Miller was here for the prior committee, but we will revisit it at the council meeting where it will be presented for action. The next item is another street naming.
Did you vote?
Oh, I'm sorry. It would be good to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? P3 is Resolution 44R16, designating the portion of Colfax Street between Prairie Avenue and Brown Avenue with the honorary street name sign Mailman Tom Pedroza Way. The Citizens Advisory Committee on Public Place Names recommends approval of 44R16, naming the portion of Colfax Street between Prairie Avenue and Brown Avenue with the honorary street name sign Mailman Tom Pedroza Way. Funding for the program is budgeted in the Public Works Agency Infrastructure and Maintenance Bureau with a budget of $40,000. 3 signs are made for the honoree, and the approximate cost for each street sign is $200. Is there a motion? Second. And anyone here to speak to that item? Okay. Anyone?
Yeah, it's my ward.
Okay,
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
Well, I had the privilege of meeting Tom Pedroza a couple of weeks ago. A huge gathering of his friends and neighbors. I call them friends and neighbors because they really, he's a part of their community, just truly immediately you sense that he's just really an amazing person, and he's really done so much over 35 plus years to make that just a really a wonderful neighborhood community, and I'm very happy to support this recommendation.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that will be presented for action at the council meeting. P4, Resolution 45R16, designating the portion of Church Street between Brown Avenue and Dodge Avenue with the honorary street sign name Samuel Johnson Place. The Citizens Advisory Committee on Public Place Names recommends approval of 45R16, naming the portion of Church Street between Brown Avenue and Dodge Avenue with the honorary street name sign Samuel Johnson Place.
Move approval.
Is there anyone who would like to speak to that one?
I guess we have some people wanting to speak,
Okay.
but I would also like to say, Mr. Chair, that it is my honor to make this recommendation. We met with the committee, and we had lots of folk there to speak for Mr. Johnson and his contribution to our community, and I think we'll have equally as many people here tonight. I know some of them want to speak at the council meeting, but I'm assuming that there's people who want to speak here as well.
And Ms. Esther, and I want you to line up. Okay, there you go. Thank you. And just state your name before you speak.
Phoebe Bradford. Good evening.
Good evening.
I want to thank the City Council and the Citizen Advisory Committee for the public place of naming the honorary street name Samuel Johnson Place for the City of Evanston. He's a well-deserving person, and when Sam asked me to do this for him, this project, I was overwhelmed, and I couldn't say no because I've known him mostly all of my life. But I just want to thank all of you for allowing this to happen in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next speaker.
Good evening. My name is John Murray. I'm president of the Evanston Family Organization. Sam Johnson has inspired many people in Evanston. A lot of kids stay in school. He's been a mentor. He's been a surrogate. He's been a great person most of his life. He helped a lot of people. He helped me to stay in school when I used to spend time in the barbershop. He's done so much for the community that to name a street after him in honorary would be a wonderful thing and a great memory for all of Evanston to understand and remember that anybody can be a great person that does great things for other people. And I represent about 1,000 people in Evanston who are members of the Evanston Family Organization. And we give a picnic every year to honor community leaders. We honored Sam a couple of years ago because he's done so much for the community. He's done so much for me personally. And I really hope that this ordinance would be okayed and it would be a great thing for Evanston. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Betty Esther, and I did a presentation at the Citizen Advisory Committee for street naming. And at that presentation, I was informed that we could only have one block for Sam's name to be on. But going forth and having the discussion and stuff that people was talking to me in the community was it going from Darrell to Brown? But it says it's only one block. The two people whose names you just voted to change the street name, which they are well deserved, I only met one, and that was Mrs. Pate at Oakton School. Their name will take up 2 blocks. So that is not a hard and fast rule. The document is in your council package showing it 2 blocks. So I am requesting, and I know the people that wrote and searched and everything and wrote up such a lovely application would be honored to have it, and so would Sam. Sam spent 20 years from Darrell to Brown before he moved and spent 40 years plus going forward in the block from Dodge to Brown. We need that name. It would be such a significant thing to the community to have his name going from Darrell to Brown. So, because Sam, he was kind of taken back when it was said that it could only be one block, because he had and thought that it could be two. So, I'm asking you, my alderman did tell me this, I'm asking you, as her cohort, to grant us our wish. I know you would be voting against her, but that's okay. We wouldn't be mad at you if you did this. So, if you could do that, we really would appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Carlos Sutton speaking in for P2 and P4. First, giving honor to Clara Pate, who I worked for a period of years at Oakton School and have known the family for years. It's a great honor, and she's also a relative of Mayor Morton. So I think this is a great honor that this could be done in that community. And since she's had the largest black population of students of any school in Evanston, I think it's further commemorative that she should receive this recognition. On Sam Johnson, Sam Johnson's commitment to our community cannot be adequately described in a period of a minute to two. The numerous people that he's assisted, his generosity, his compassion, has always been known throughout this community. His consistency has always been known throughout this community. I'm asking you now for your consistency. The previous P2 and P3 take up 2 blocks. When I requested the city to name Sam Johnson Way from Darrell to Brown, they told me it was only 1 block could be done. If you look at the other 2 names that are being considered tonight, both those names take up 2 blocks. Please be consistent in naming streets, especially in our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Carolyn Murray. I just wanted to extend my comments. I'm not sure if I'll be able to speak later, so I just wanted to add that Sam has been a cultural representation of entrepreneurship in the community, a very fine example of a man who has touched so many lives and families throughout the history of Evanston. Growing up as a young person, just the hugs and kisses that you would get at the barbershop was an inspiration to be a part of the community, feeling the full culture and the representation of a barbershop. I would love for you to approve it, and I'm sure the community would benefit as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Alderman Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This has been addressed, and I'm certainly want to see the place in our agenda and in the packet that I've read. I don't know where these 2 blocks are coming from. The rule is 1 block, and I guarantee you, if anybody gets 2 blocks, Sam will get 2 blocks, but ain't nobody getting but 1 block. That's what it is. But I want to say this to you, that the group who came and for Mr. Johnson worked very, very hard on this, did the research. And he's here tonight, so if I'm not correct, he can correct me. The barbershop in the 1800 block of Dodge was owned by his father before Sam, if I'm not mistaken. And then we're looking at the 1900 block of Dodge. And so when we talked about it, of Church, between Dodge and Brown rather than Dodge and Darrell. So it was something that was discussed. So I just want to commend the group led by Ms. Bradford that did all of the hard work and the research. So we wanted to be sure and clear of what we were looking at, so that it was not done in any way of not recognizing that he had been on one side of Dodge before he was on the other side of Dodge. But we know where the longest tenure was, and that is on between Dodge and Brown. So I just want to say that for clarity so people will understand. But I think that all of us as aldermen would certainly want to make sure that no one got anything that was not deserving. And I truly believe it's one block. It says it in the ordinance. And if there's a mistake somewhere, I was trying to look very quickly to see if I could see it, but if you look at the map, the director is looking back there. He's looking at the same time. We don't see what Ms. Esther and Mr. Sutton are referring to, but if it's there, we will certainly research it, and I guarantee you that I will make sure that it's changed, so not a problem. Thank you.
Okay, and for what it's worth, from the packet I have on page 591 and page 580, they are both one block on the map. So so for anybody who thought it was more than one, I apologize that there was that misunderstanding. Some people are shaking their heads, but perhaps we can regroup and look at the maps out in the hallway. But as far as this particular item, there's a motion. And is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Mr. Chair, in the
Yes.
future, could you pay attention to your lights because other people might want to speak?
I apologize. Okay, Alderman Rainey, my laptop. got in the
I'd
way.
like to make a comment.
Okay,
on
go
this
ahead, please.
discussion.
I apologize.
It's really too bad that we aren't talking about accolades to these wonderful people who are so deserving, as opposed to the length of the street. And I would like to say, in honor of Clara Pate, that Oakton School takes up 1 square block in the city of Evanston, and she is being honored by the entire north side of the school is Oakton School, and it runs from Ridge Avenue to Barton, and that's the block. And so Clara certainly deserves the whole square block, but since our rules say 1 block, that's what she's getting, and we're happy to honor her.
Thank you. Item P5 is Ordinance 70-016, granting major zoning relief for 1 additional dwelling unit, balconies, and building lot coverage at 493 through 495 Sheridan Road. City staff is recommending approval of the ordinance granting the zoning relief for 1 additional dwelling unit for a total of 7 dwelling units where 6 are permitted. A 0-foot east interior side yard setback for balconies where 2.7 feet setback is required, and an increase in the building lot coverage from a legally non-conforming 50.5% to 55.6%. And that is due to the addition of 2 open parking spaces. Ordinarily, a maximum of 45% is allowed at that location. The applicant has complied with all other zoning requirements and meets the standards for variations. This is for introduction. Is there a motion?
Move approval. Second.
And anyone on the list wanting to speak to this from the audience? Alderman Nguyen, did you want to make any comments on this?
Just that I've met with the developer for this site, this property, and I think that they have come up with a very good design for this. I do think that the community in that area can handle having this change. So I think this is a good change.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That will be introduced at council. Item P6, Ordinance 69-016, granting a special use for a single-family detached dwelling at 1100 Florence Avenue. The Zoning Board of Appeals and city staff are recommending the adoption of the ordinance, granting the special use approval for a single-family detached dwelling at the address in the B1 Business District. The applicant has complied with all zoning requirements and meets all of the standards for a special use for this district. Suspension of the rules is being requested for introduction and action by City Council this evening. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second? Second. Anyone from the community wanting to speak to that item? All right. Anyone on council wishing to, or the committee? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That will be introduced, and suspension of the rules will be requested at council. Any items for discussion? Any communications, Mr. Munzer?
No, Mr. Chair, thank you.
Okay, we will regroup for council. Is there a motion to adjourn? Yeah.
Start at 8.
Okay, we'll reconvene at 8 o'clock for council.